Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to Baldur's Gate 3, as today we deal with this hot mess. Though, to be fair, on a closer look, it's actually not quite as bad as it seemed. Once you look past all the lava... Oh shoot, that's new. Okay, you know what, that actually does somewhat complicate things, but yeah. After you look past the lava, there are actually some pretty clearly defined paths here amidst the flow. So we'll just hop around, be careful where we step, and hopefully we should be able to... that. We could actually jump straight down to the platform with the chest, which would actually provide us with a pretty decent foothold to fight that lava elemental from. That's actually not a bad approach. But first, let's go ahead and clear this little corner over here. We have this obvious mithril vein. And yeah, it turns out the lava area is actually relatively small. A lot of this stuff we're seeing like this is just background scenery. Really, that giant outcropping yielded a single piece of usable ore. Alright, well I guess that was all in vain then. Honestly, not all that surprising. We kind of knew they were going to artificially limit the amount of mithril we could get, especially after that Susser Bark incident. And a scroll of protection from energy. Very subtle. Oh, speaking of which, I did actually pop a couple of elixirs of fire resistance given the region we're going into. I would have given it to everyone, but I didn't want to squander these strength elixirs, especially since, obviously Karlach is already fire resistant. Auric, however, will just have to watch his step. Though, I mean, given that he is the character we're usually manually controlling, it's actually not that big a deal. And you know what? Screw it. Let's hop down. We can always glyph back out if need be. And honestly, it's not like navigating those lava bursts is going to be any easier if we have to do it while there is a lava elemental actively wandering through them.
Lava's erupting. Better watch my step. Why the hell's a lava elemental? No wonder the lake's so volatile.
Oh, interesting. Okay, well then we definitely did the right thing. Let's crack this chest, then we'll take out the elemental. Which, from the sound of it, should then at least reduce the lava bursts.
There is work to do. Let's get this thing open.
Nice. And what do we got? Sentient Amulet. Grants shatter and key restoration. Also, you can talk to it. Sun-graced warmth radiates from both the pendant and its chain. Somehow, even a brief glance of it brings a smile to your face. Intriguing. Though we also know this thing is potentially cursed, so let's tread lightly here.
Thou hast come!
The amulet is heavy, but holds a subtle warmth, like it was left under the sun.
Suddenly, the metal surges with heat. You feel great power and an overwhelming urge to laugh.
Can thou endure?
Well, I know that one. That is the symbol of Lathander, the Morning Lord. One of my old players ran a Cleric of Lathander for like 3-4 years straight. I've actually still got the mini floating around here somewhere.
Your power spikes, banishing the urge to laugh in an instant.
Thou hast done well. For what is a laugh if not one step toward madness? Thou art the one! Return me, take me home, and thou shalt glow with blessings.
I've got to say, though, my friend did not run his character like that. I'm sorry, return you where, exactly? I'm gonna need more details.
To thy granddaughter, Shira Clarwen. Serves Ilmater, she does. She waits in Worm's Crossing. Take me there, and thou shalt bathe in her golden gifts. Oh, thou shalt be blessed indeed.
I love Oric's body language. He's like, are you hearing this shit? So what, you're a ghost, I guess? Or a curse? What exactly is the deal here?
A ghost? I am sunlight on water, dew on grass. Sharons broke my body, but my spirit they could not. Well, not completely.
Right, torture. That'd do it.
Thou shalt return me home. It is written.
That thing's tainted. Better to leave it than bear a dead man's grudges.
Says the worshipper of Shar. Well, let's get a closer look at it.
Etched on its face is an image of the dawning sun.
Yeah, I noticed. Okay, who could it be?
You recognize the symbol. It belongs to those sworn to Lathander, god of dawn and renewal. Whatever madness this spirit suffers was inflicted by Lathander's enemies, followers of Shar. And this madness may flow into you.
Nah, I'd win. But just in case.
Beneath the rampant joy, you sense the monk's fear and sincerity. He doesn't wish to harm you, but that doesn't mean he won't.
Yeah, okay. So this is just what's left of some poor worshipper of Lathander tortured into madness, trying to be taken back to his kin. I mean, Lathander's a neutral good deity. I'm sorry you're going through this. I will, of course, take you where you need to go.
I shall walk with thee. I shall grant you my power.
You know what? I'm good. You'll be riding in coach.
You feel a chuckle coming on, but it soon fades.
I suspect it'll be much safer to wear once we've actually carried out his final request. But until then, definitely not safe to wear. Let's wait for this lava elemental to circle around, then we'll cool its heels. Yeah, we'll just engage from up top. No point in getting too close to this mess. Dramatic regeneration. Oh, here goes nothing. Rex, why don't you hang back, bud? Well, actually... No. Just hang back. We'll hurl you into the fray.
Can't give up.
Once this thing gets a bit closer. Have we already used Phalar Loop? Yes, still on cooldown. Alright, just hang tight.
Time to strike. My path be true.
Light it up. Minor, but that's fine. We've still got it a quarter down.
Now this is my happy place. My little trick.
Make that 1/3. And 1/2.
Still breathing, despite everything.
Oh, wow. So almost everything we just did, but not all of it. Let's move Rex to intercept. And just keep on carving. Nice.
Victory awaits. No time to waste.
Boo.
This is gonna feel good.
But fine. Karlak's our heavy hitter here.
One, two.
You know what? We've got to outpace that regen. Oh. Knocked it prone. Okay. Now the regen. Oof. But, you know, some slight progress there.
What should I do?
Nice.
Swift and lethal.
I'm heating up.
No, let's... Oh, for goodness sake.
Hup.
almost feel bad doing this.
No surrender.
This thing never really stood a chance.
Can't even catch my breath.
And we're good. Also, the floor is lava. Defeat the lava elemental in the lava lake. Lovely. And look at that, it did indeed burst the bubbles.
How much farther can I go?
So now we can just explore at our leisure. Though I am ever so slightly worried that there might have been a peaceful way we could have approached this thing.
Best to make camp.
Given the general lack of a fight it put up. And let's walk the edges. See what else lies concealed amidst this magmatic flow. Adamantine key. A bit late, but we'll take it. Honestly, if this were a more conventional tabletop RPG, that adamantine chest itself would be worth a pretty penny. Albeit worth less without the matching key. So that would have actually been a pretty exciting find in one of my campaigns. I likely would have penalized the barter value if some hapless merchant or tradesman had to fabricate their own replacement key. Okay, so I'm seeing at least 3 skeletons scattered around the basalt ridges here. Some pretty obvious jumping paths. Oh, I wonder if the lava elemental was part of the Hell Knight raid on the Sharan Temple. That would definitely help explain some of the damage we saw up top. Ah, there we go. We've got another Hell Knight halberd over there. Let us very carefully collect it. Maragon halberd. Also a bone. And that leads back out towards the main forge platform. Let's find our way over to the ruined weapon rack with the other 2 corpses we saw. There's got to be something worth salvaging over there. I will say, one thing that is more than a little goofy with this particular scenario is that it wouldn't just be the lava that would pose a direct contact hazard. It would also just be the general environment, toxic fumes, the intense ambient heat. I mean, magma would be hot enough to actually ignite most flammable objects just from proximity, let alone any sort of direct contact. Though that would also make this a much, much more obnoxious area to explore. Honestly, it makes me think of, oh, look at that. A very cleverly concealed Skeleman, tucked beneath the main platform. Do we have any easy access points here? Not that I am seeing, so I guess we have to find a good angle. Oh, wait. Huh. Looks like a walkable ledge, but the whole area is marked as non-traversable.
Oh, action, not reaction.
Can't mist walk in there, despite having clear visual. Alright, well, you know what? We're not going to mess with that for now. I'll come back for that later. I'm just really worried the more I try to fuss with it, the more likely one of our guys is to nosedive into lava. Also, I am just now realizing we seem to have lost our Shadow Heart. But yeah, this actually reminds me of
A long way to go still.
I rarely used lava. It was a catastrophically dangerous environmental hazard, so, you know, I used it very sparingly. I only ever had 2 players that came in direct contact with the stuff.
There's no time
The first
to
was a
waste.
hapless fighter who fell down a lava chute. And although there were ways they could have stopped him from falling all the way down, the party opted to see where it would go. And yeah, lava. So he died. He died forever.
Despite
Entombed in the magmatic flow.
best be on my way.
But then the other time was even more baffling, honestly. I was acting as a substitute GM at a convention. They needed an emergency fill-in for one of the tables. So I was running this pretty awful Monty Hall adventure. And one of the encounters was, I think, actually against either Magmen or a lava elemental. It was something very similar to what we just fought. And it was guarding a spherical cut gemstone, which the party rogue snaked before anyone could notice, which was a huge problem because that was actually the keystone they needed to progress to the next chamber. So they had this bowl-shaped depression in this pedestal, and nobody knew what went in it. And for whatever reason, the rogue wasn't volunteering that he had this stone. Oh, hi there. Magma Mephits. But yeah, so the group's sitting here on this circular platform with a pedestal with a bowl-shaped depression in the middle. So finally, one of the other people at the table, who is running like a fighter-mage hybrid, I think, he looks at me and he's like, I'm going to scoop up some lava and I'm going to pour it in that bowl. And, you know, so I look at him with the tone, the classic GM tone, where it's like, this is a terrible idea, but please, elaborate on your plan for me. And he's like, well, I've got a cup in my mess kit. And I'm just staring at him, and I'm like, okay, so what is this cup made of? And I can see other players at the table looking at each other, but no one wants to interrupt him. And he's like, oh, well, it's not made of wood. That would be silly. It's made of tin. And, you know, I feel like at that point I was broadcasting pretty clearly that it was a terrible idea, but at the same time, you know, I didn't want to just shut him down. I wasn't going to tell him it was a bad idea. I was just waiting for the rogue to say something, or for anyone to say something. But no, I mean, maybe, to be fair, maybe they thought I was bluffing, maybe they thought it was all an elaborate illusion. Maybe the other players were just curious to see if he'd actually do it. But yes, he walked up to the lava and he tried to scoop a mug full of lava with his tin mess kit. I did ultimately take mercy on the poor guy. I essentially fired the GM equivalent of a warning shot across his bow. Asked him if he was sure, and when he said he was, I ruled that no sooner had the tin cup come within a foot or so of the lava before it essentially liquefied in his grip, spattering him with white-hot bits of tin. Oh, hey guys. Welcome to the party. The more the merrier. But yeah, those are the only 2 times I ever remember lava really being a prominent part of any of my campaigns.
My turn.
And for good reason, because both times the players managed to inexplicably find some way to hurt themselves with it. Though, I mean, at least in the case of the first guy, he was like, I'm already falling down this lava chute, might as well see where it goes, as opposed to deliberately sticking any part of his body in it. That said, the general absurdity of that first scenario has always stuck with me, if simply because every single other party member emergency evac the second the lava chute was exposed, using a variety of magic items, you know, boots of levitation, helm of the dragonfly, etc. He fell because I immediately prompted the rest of the party to tell me what they were doing, and no one thought to grab him. They grabbed every other member of the party, including the hireling, before going aloft, only for him to then find himself standing there with no means of escape as this chute opened up beneath him. And then, even then, it wasn't like it was just instant death. Despite it being a lava chute, and despite them knowing they were fighting in a dungeon built in the basin of a volcano, he was just like, okay, I guess I'll see where it goes. Thus ended the adventures of, oh gosh, who was that? I've killed so many player characters. Frederick the Follower? No, I think it was one of his brothers. I think Frederick was the one who got petrified, confidently blindfolding himself before trying to blind fight a cockatrice. Turns out they petrify by touch, not by sight. But that was his brother. It was a set of 3 brothers played by the same player. Frederick the Follower, Harold the Executioner, and Edmundo the Brave. Yes, it was Edmundo. Edmundo the Brave, who bravely met his end in that lava chute.
Like its will be done.
That took the edge off.
Alright, let's see what we've got. Heart-shaped rock. Used to craft oil of combustion. Yeah, I guess that tracks. Side note, I think it was actually Harold who tried to blind fight a cockatrice. He had a habit of very confidently approaching fights that he couldn't possibly win.
Alright, what now?
Fisticuffs with a greater mummy.
What's ahead?
Wrestling with an eastern vampire. But I think it is the cockatrice that finally ended him. The party lost track of his body before he could be restored. Good times. I mean, for me, probably less so for them. But hey, they kept coming back. Nah, I mean, I've mentioned it before. I did have a bit of a reputation as a harsh killer GM back in the day. But I mean, I sat in some of the other games that were run in the store I worked at that time. And trust me, I definitely was not a killer GM compared to some of the other more casual pickup games. Grymm Forge, a history. I feel like we've read that one. Let me get a gander. Yeah, very basic, very sparse. basically just reaffirms that this place was built in the name of Lady Shar, and then recolonized by Ketheric Thorm. In fact, I might even still have it stashed in our container full of quest items. No, I must have sent it back to camp. Which would make sense. I mean, there's not really much in the way of relevant info there. This, however, the Sharan Registry, that bears a closer look. And it would seem this is the end of the line on this side. Though at least we got another chunk of mithril out of it. So that's 2 potential items we can craft. Sharan Registry. A scuffed and battered tome, clearly passed through many hands down the years. The Lady's Worshippers. A registry of proud followers recruited by her loyal paladin, Ketheric Thorm. Pages upon pages of names fill this book. Some are only nicknames. Others consist of multiple noble titles. All of them are scratched out and annotated with "no longer." Wow, okay, I've got to say that was nowhere near as useful as I was hoping it would be. Though I suppose we should hold on to it just in case. Having a list of Ketheric's followers on hand, even if it isn't explicitly spelling them out for us, could certainly come in handy, given some of the folks we're apt to encounter. So yeah, nothing left but the forge platform and that little strip over there. And it looks like we can go down there, but it is obviously less than ideal. There must be a ladder or ledge or something here somewhere.
This must be the forge. What a sight to behold.
Indeed, I barely even know what I'm looking at. Okay, well that's obvious. That's where our mold goes. And that's where our ore goes, because it is a crucible. Plus we have this lever here. And no obvious path down. Perhaps the lever activates some sort of descent. Lava valve. So we do have to go down there. That's how we activate the lava flow, which superheats the mithril and allows us to forge it. I'm eyeing the pipes, looking to see if those might be our jump path, but it would not appear so. Alright, I'm gonna guess it's the lever, but let's finish checking this ledge over here. Perhaps there's another clue or some other such thing that we're overlooking. Since, of course, we did come at this at a slightly odd angle. Wow, no. Okay, so it actually seems like we were pretty much done with this particular area. Huh. You know what? Let's hit the pause button real quick. I'm gonna go fuss with that body we saw tucked under the lava elemental platform. Perhaps that has the piece we're missing here. Nope, turns out it's completely inaccessible, and trying to get to it just causes you to fall in lava and die. I don't know if that's a bug or just deliberate bait to trick the player into dying, but not anything we can do over there as far as I can tell. So I guess we'll just futz with this stuff. The mold chamber and the crucible are both self-explanatory. That's where we put our mold and our mithril ore, respectively. Which really just leaves the question of the lever over there, which I assume lowers the platform. But the question is there a specific order I'm supposed to use these in? I mean, I guess we'll just have to try and find out. Let's get a mold fitted, and I have generally been told that we should focus on armor items. But since we only have 2 chunks of mithril, that means, I guess, 1 shield and 1 set of armor. Karlach and Shadow use medium. Lae'zel is currently using medium, but can use heavy. But we're not traveling with Lae'zel long-term, so it feels like heavy might be a bit of a waste. We'll start with the shield. I'll let you guys weigh in on what we do with the other chunk. Now get the ore fitted. And let's test our leverage. Let's switch things up. Oh. Right. Okay, so... and there we go. Apparently that was the switch for activating the hammer and lowering the platform, which feels like it might not be the best design, but...
Down it goes.
But, you know, what do I know? I am but a humble dragon man with a brain full of worms. That's hot. Yes, the fabled Forge Guardian. You know, it's been so long since we first got that warning. It did slip my mind. Well, that's Grymm. So what's going on with this guy? Superheated. Exposure to lava has caused Grymm's adamantine body to soften. Can now be affected by certain damage types and is vulnerable to bludgeoning damage. Interesting. Okay. So resistant to slashing and piercing, vulnerable to bludgeoning. Resistant to acid, thunder, cold, force. And then just straight up immune to everything else. Essentially completely invulnerable unless superheated. Gotcha. Yeah, Dorn's notes did hint at that. Grymm always attacks the last creature that hit it, if possible. Well, that is good to know. We can use that to essentially force it to focus on our sacrificial pawns. By which I mean spiritual weapon we're about to summon. Not you, Rex. You're good, Rex. You're fine, buddy. You're gonna live forever. Alright, so let's do some setup here. We'll get our party attuned. And and conjure up a spiritual hammer. Oh, well, I guess that doesn't actually make a difference. It's force damage regardless, but that's fine. Damage is damage. Its only real purpose is to hold this thing's attention. We don't really have much in the way of bludgeoning, and given its weight, there's no way we're throwing this thing or pushing it to the forge hammer. Though Karlach, at least, does do partial bludgeoning because of the weird quirks of the throwing system.
This'll help.
Oh, yeah, we're fine. Just gotta outlast this thing. Unless it can heal. We'll have it out in like 4-ish rounds. Especially now that we've got Frenzy going.
Let's end this.
Main thing to remember here, I think, is that we need Rex or the hammer to land the last hit. And failing that, Lae'zel. Yeah, immune to necrotic, immune to lightning, resistant to force and thunder. Oryx not really well suited for this one.
Victory awaits. Make way.
And Lae'zel, our third string distraction. Let's get you oiled up. Nice. That's a good start. Alright, that was like 35, 40.
Need to stay focused.
Now Rex. No luck, but that's fine.
What's the plan?
Hammer time.
I'm ready.
There we go. Hey, okay. We're in good shape. Hammer now has priority.
Let's end this.
Awaken. 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 Take the land that must be taken.
Bye forever, pal.
Mustakakrish, the lake troll. We don't serve people who awaken lake trolls. Death Clock. I both loved and hated that show. Super gross, super mean-spirited. But it did have its moments. Especially the movie. Doomstar Requiem. No, it seems fine. For a second there, I was worried our returning pike was about to get slagged. Gotta be careful with that lava. Actually, did they ever end up releasing the sequel to that? I gotta look into that. I know they did just release the long-awaited Venture Bros finale movie, which I loved. But yeah, I should see if they wrapped up Death Clock as well. I'm not super invested in the show, but I thought Doomstar Requiem was actually pretty fun. Likely because, you know, it was the project where they finally really started kind of leaning a bit away from just death metal. Not a big death metal fan. Oh, poor Grymm. He is getting utterly crushed here. Seismic Wrath. Hammers out. And... oh.
Hells! Anything else going to join in? A dragon? Some spiders, maybe?
Okay, okay. Now it's a bit more interesting. He's switching off to wide, ground-based AoE attacks, and we have 4 explosive adds.
Ready.
Looks like he hits pretty hard, too. Shadow was on the fringes there and still lost half her health. We'll have Shadow linger just long enough to get off our attacks. Then she'll make herself scarce.
Survival is all that matters.
Magma Mephits are way too far. We'll give them a round to close in. Honestly, they might outlive Grymm at this point.
Need to stay focused.
He stepped up his game, but he is still getting hammered.
I am fury. I am death.
Oh, shoot. Mephits go before Karlach. Fair enough. Rex is now primary.
Got to concentrate.
I've got to rearrange Shadow's spell bar again. Yeah, just hang back. Wow. Actually covered more ground than I thought they would. Hey, cool it. Ah, gosh darn it. Alright, you know what? You guys just move yourselves up the priority queue. Two out. And we'll save one for Auric.
Good idea, Carla.
Nice. Oh, shoot, but that now makes her priority. Wait, why didn't... Hammer, what happened? Oh, goodness. And there goes Rex. Cool. That's fun. Well, Shadow at, say, 20%. Rex is out. Though apparently Rex was full of gold. So, I mean, I guess I'm kind of glad he blew up. Also, I am very glad I'm not the dungeon master running this particular encounter. Because otherwise, retrieving the items from that lava pool would have been much more problematic.
I'm ready.
Especially that gold. It would it would not have survived that. You know what? Why don't you just hang tight?
Time to push my luck again.
We've got this. Dispatched in a Mephit of rage.
Need to act fast.
Gods, it's hot in here.
And now for your grim fate.
Want to do it?
Come on. Oh, so close.
Let's finish this.
Bink bonk.
All right, Karlak, it's go time.
Hammer. Hammer is primary.
Moving.
Oh. Huh. Okay. Kind of going out on a whimper here, bud, but whatever floats your boat.
My faith will protect me. Time to strike. I am fury. I am death. I am fury. I am death.
Single digits.
Go on.
And down it goes.
There. It's done. Good.
Ah, and the lava recedes. Well, isn't that convenient? Let's see what we got. Grim Skull Helm. Attackers can't land critical hits on the wearer. Also grants resistance to fire and Hunter's Mark. Once home to an inscrutable machine intelligence, Grim's Skull now serves as a simple helm. Okay. Sure, why not? I'm certainly not adverse to taking a Grim trophy or two.
Eager for battle.
Though we only have one character who can really make full use of it. Which would mean swapping out the haste helm. I'll mull on it whilst we complete our crafting.
Swift as my feet can carry me.
Which at this point should just be pulling that lever over there. That'll drop the hammer and theoretically shape our superheated mithril. In theory? Nice, yes, okay. I will admit, I was really expecting a more complex numerical crafting puzzle of some sort here. But I am certainly not complaining. Nor am I complaining about the extra point of inspiration. Fantastic. I think that actually gets us back towards max. Adamantine Shield. When a melee attacker misses you, the attacker is sent reeling for 2 turns. Shield Bash. When a foe hits you with a melee attack, you can use your reaction to knock it prone, unless it passes a dex save. Attackers can't land critical hits on the wearer. That's actually pretty solid. The dull shine of the adamantine promises the shield could take 1,000 beatings, and still look as good as new. So between that and the helm, we actually have 2 crit immunity items. One suitable for Lae'zel and one suitable for Shadow. Which does put me at a bit of a crossroads on which armor to craft, because we could make the heavy, but it would only be for Lae'zel, but she already has the helmet now. So that does feel like it might be redundant. Well, no. I imagine it would also have higher AC and DR. It is adamantine, after all.
Blackets will be done.
On the other hand, though, if we go with medium, we could give that to Shadow, but that would be redundant with the shield. Also, it would mean swapping out the Luminous. Or we could give it to Karlach, who I believe is currently rocking a +1 breastplate. Oh, wow, yeah. That is very much a Lae'zel look. Honestly, it might be worth doing the splint mail just to complete the set. But I am currently leaning towards scale, because in theory we could give that to Karlach, which would be a slight bump, I imagine, to her defense, plus crit immunity, and we'd have 3 party members who are all immune to crits. At least, until we swap Lae'zel out for someone else. I do want to keep cycling that slot so we give other characters some screen time. So she's just with us until
it ends not as bad as it
the
could
crash.
have. With haste.
But you know what? We're already past time, so no need to rush it. I'll mull on it for a few days. That'll also give you guys a chance to toss in your 10 cents. That said, yeah, I feel like this brings us to a pretty good stopping point. And I believe to the end of this particular region as well. Aside perhaps from that poisoned temple entrance, which did look like it just led straight to a catastrophically fatal fall, though it does still bear further investigation. I suppose that's something else I'll do during the between-episode bookkeeping, is try to figure out where we're supposed to go from here. There's no real clear-cut path. Well, we'll figure it out. See you then. Oh, and special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Revenant, Alois, CrowkingLoR, Dragon Matrix 7, Drakiith, Theory V23, EgonAlter, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Kazorm, Mark Giemza, Nathan Welch Jr., OverlordPherom, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Nexus GG, or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.
You feel a chuckle coming on, but it soon fades.